you've already achieved the other mountains of life. You've achieved a lot. You've built a multi-8-figure, 9-figure company. And, you have all the cars and all the cool shit. I retired my mom, and I have multiple passports, and I renounced citizenship, and A to Z. I open up Grok, and I'm like, Grok, I'm bored. Find me something to do this week. And Grok is like, well, if you want to not be a go climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I gave up US, so I'm
You gave up US passport?
Yes. You can try 20 times, fail 20 times, but you win once, bang. I spent $10,000 on a walking stick with a knife inside of it.
That's crazy. $10,000 on a walking street.
I had a lot of businesses. I was buying and flipping cars, cell phones, might have sold a little college. I was an entrepreneur, so I was always a hustle. People say money is freedom, yes, but it's not the only one.
Multiple passport is also a freedom.
Oh yeah, I'd rather hand multiple passports to my kids than millions of dollars. Once you go, the more shit you go through, you actually become someone, and that is the real gift. Early on in my business, when I was first building Smarter Contact, I had a business partner. We were doing real estate deals, and I was just excited. I was just like, hey man, like, don't tell anyone, but I got this really cool thing. He's like, yeah man, like, tell me, like, you can trust me. I was like, take notes. Failure is an opportunity for you to level up yourself and to level up the best version of yourself that you could be proud of. So I was like, guys, I don't feel like climbing down the rest of the mountain, because climbing down the mountain is fucking stupid. Like, you got to the top.
Yes.
Like, get me the fuck off. Like, so I was like, how much is a helicopter? They were like, sir, it's too much. I'm like,
just tell me.
Yeah, how much is it? Like, try me. They're like, it's $4,000. Fuck it. Bring it out. So the helicopter comes down and just fly off like James Bond. They're all looking at me, jaws drop. They're like, who is this guy? Hello, Adam, how are you? I'm like, I will never answer you. I climbed fucking mountains and built a $100 million company. I can have all the big fucking ego I want.
Hey, Adam. Welcome to another episode.
What's up, brother? Excited to be here.
Yeah.
Episode number 2.
Episode number 2, guys. So the last episode with Giuliano has been super hit. Thanks for the views and subscribe and the engagement. And we are here with Adam Nasir.
Yes. I can promise you this one will be way worse.
He's a multi-millionaire. And he will say more about him. Like, you are a multi-millionaire who sold his software company and lives a wealthy life, retired at 36 in Dubai. And Adam, like, please tell our subscribers more about yourself, like, what are you doing currently and your backstory, and let's start.
Great. Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. My name is Adam. I did not sell my company. I retired. So I built a SaaS company, a tech company that I just built as a solution for my own problem in real estate, which I'll go into in detail in this podcast of like how it came to that. But last year I stepped down as the CEO. So I still own the company. I still own the majority of it.
Okay.
But under current valuations, it's certainly multiple 8 to 9 figure company. And I'm no longer the CEO.
So there is a different person as a CEO.
Correct. I just got off the phone with him like an hour ago, like literally 30 minutes before the interview. So I still have regular calls with our CEO and our executive team, but I'm just not involved. So.
Okay. And how do you did it? Like having this multi-million-dollar company at such a young age, like, how was it possible? Like,
yeah.
How did you did it?
Honestly, I failed more than anybody else you know. I failed literally more than anyone you know. So honestly, it was just trial and error, and then fail, try, fail. You try different businesses, but it really just takes one to hit. You can try 20 times, fail 20 times, but you win once, bang. You're set for life. And that's what smartercontact.com, my software was just the one success after having taken 20 shots on goal. I had one massive win, and that grew. Now, to your question, like what was it? I was a real estate investor, so I was buying and flipping properties in the US. I was buying and flipping contracts on deals on real estate. And everyone was doing this, like it was pretty popular. And this is a way to make, 20, 30, 50K a month very easily. But then I was always creative, and I saw an opportunity of how interesting would it be to send text messages to clients. And I was like, I would love to build something like that. I saw it wasn't existing. So I built it, added it to my business, and boom, I started making more money in my own business. So imagine like I'm digging for gold. I'm digging for good real estate deals. And I built a really badass shovel. So I'm like digging away, I'm making money. And then the idea came to me, it's like, wait, if I built this shovel, like why am I digging instead? Why don't I just sell the shovel? And that's when it changed everything. So instead of digging for the real estate deals, I would sell the software to my competitors and my colleagues and people that are in my space. And that's just when it took off to a whole other stratosphere.
And when did you start this company? Which year?
2019.
Okay, before the pandemic, I mean. Okay, and you retired like last year?
Last year, yeah.
Okay, so 5 years you have run the company.
Yeah, 5-6 years. And it's funny, I say retired, I have a walking stick if you guys look at my brand. I didn't bring it, I told you before the podcast. I spent $10,000 on a walking stick with a knife inside it.
That's crazy. $10,000 on a walking street.
Because it's funny. It's marketing, honestly. It's really clever marketing. But
And you were telling that before the software company, you had a real estate company.
Yes, I was buying and flipping homes, yeah.
Okay, so that was your first business.
No, I had a lot. I had a lot of businesses. I was buying and flipping cars, like cell phones. Might have sold a little weed in college. I was an entrepreneur, so I was always a hustle.
So what's your like backstory? I mean, tell me something about your childhood and your growing up years. And you told me that you were bullied, beaten when you were as a child growing up. I mean, tell me the backstory. I mean,
yeah. So, for people that don't know me, you might see this person today dressed in a nice, suit and, looking pretty sharp. But, honestly, I wasn't that person, 5, 10, even especially 20 years ago. So I grew up really bullied. I also grew up abused at home. But my stepfather, I had no dad growing up. And I lived in almost like jail for 10 years. I had a really hard childhood. That, honestly, man, is like... it was super sad, but it was one of the best things that could have happened to me in hindsight, having gone through it. So, yeah, I was abused when we moved to the U.S. I'm originally from Morocco. We moved to the U.S. For the American dream. Like we wanted an opportunity. I was bullied by my stepdad for a long time.
This happened in Morocco or in U.S.?
In USA, yeah. Okay. So I was 8 years old when I moved. So my mom moved in with my stepdad, and he abused us really hard. And I went to school and I was just bullied like nonstop because I was skinny, scrawny, didn't have like a big brother or dad to like make you tough or show you what to do. So I was bullied nonstop, and that was a really tough time. I had no grip of life. I was just a bum kid. Like I was a loser. I had no friends. I had no one liked me in my school. I wasn't like athletic. I wasn't training. I wasn't doing any of that kind of stuff. Just playing too much video games. Like I'd still like watch. Like no, it wasn't really like that kid that had any direction. And no father figure. So that was a hard time in my life. But one of the best decisions was saying, okay, enough. At 18, I got accepted to a university. I'm going to go as far away as possible and just start my life over. And that's when I started to pick myself out of that hole and, remove any outside negative influences, as I recommend for a lot of people, if you're watching today, figure out where the negative influences are. Like in my situation, in this example, is the bullying, the kids, Okay, let me just start over. And sometimes you have to do that.
Okay. So that was like very tough. I mean, very tough phase of your life.
Yeah, especially when you're not equipped emotionally to be able to handle that.
And what was your first business? Like, when did you start, like earning and...
Well, first attempt at a business was, I would say actual attempt was real estate wholesaling when I was about 21. I was in college and I was trying to buy and find discounted properties. And that's another whole big business as well, where you can find discounted properties and flip them. And that's a great business model.
Okay. And, I mean, you said that you left home at 20 something?
Yeah, like 19. Yeah, I mean, 18, 19.
Okay. And you refused to settle down in life?
Yeah, I mean, brother, you just always have a dream that you want certain things in your life. You want freedom. You want your family to be taken care of. You want security. And you just realize that your life is so shitty right now. It's terrible. And all you see is, I need to figure out how to get there on the other side. I have to figure out how to get on the other side, right? So under all circumstances, you're going to figure it the fuck out, right? And maybe for anybody watching, there's always that theme. It's that hero's journey. We were just talking about that. Yeah. Like the hero has to go through some shit. Mm-hmm. But then like once you go, the more shit you go through, you actually become someone, and that is the real gift. The real gift is who you become. And I trust me, like now I showed up here in a Ferrari and I'm driving all these, supercars and all this cool shit. And honestly, man, especially in Dubai, a lot of people have money, and people who really have money will tell you that it doesn't mean shit. So my happiness doesn't really come from the money; it's the man I built.
So in one way, your childhood trauma was a trigger to make you successful. Do you think like?
Yeah, I mean it's a combination. I think that certain circumstances force you, but I think like instinctually and naturally, I just had the genetic makeup. Like I think nature versus nurture, it's a combination. But I just always was a certain way. But also the circumstance pushed me for sure. The circumstance can push you to be even more motivated to get a certain outcome. That's why you see, like, for example, like in the U.S., when you look at some of the most successful millionaires in the U.S., oftentimes they're immigrants. Immigrants make some of the best, most successful CEOs, entrepreneurs, and business owners, people from a poor or not privileged childhood or past or upbringing. Now, if anybody is watching from your podcast, like, you don't have to be super well off, and it actually makes the story that much more compelling. So there's a lot of statistics showing that, generally, immigrants have a lot more success.
And tell me, like you told me that you were into real estate, and the software which you built, like it was liked by all your friends and people around. But you had like zero tech skills. So how did a real estate guy become a software guy with zero tech skills?
Yeah, I mean, just the ability to just figure it the fuck out, to be honest. Like, I just had to figure it the fuck out. So when I was building the initial idea of smartercontact.com, which is this software that I came on and built, I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, it has a messenger, it has some kind of calendar functionality and all these different things. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't have all this money, I have a little bit. So what's a messenger that I can emulate? I look at my phone, I'm like, iMessage, okay. I steal iMessage, the layout and user interface a bit, I use a bit of it as inspiration. Apple, if you're watching, I didn't steal. I use a bit as inspiration, honestly. I use a bit as inspiration, and I take like our calendar. I used Google Calendar as an inspiration. So I just was really resourceful and building it as far as I could, and then also hiring a developer. So I hired an international developer based in Asia who got the job done much faster. And then I was just thinking, let me speak to my customers, ask them what they want, and build them exactly what they want. And this goes to a lesson about building business in any business, whether you're building a podcast or you're doing real estate or you're building a software company. You always want to focus really on your customer and provide the maximum value, the maximum product, the maximum benefit possible. Focus relentlessly on that and put everything else aside and then sell it. And you'll understand that your customers will love it and they'll be raving fans, and then it does its own marketing. Most people aren't relentlessly consumer focused, and that's what we did at Smarter Contact to help us achieve the result.
And you told me like your best friend stole your idea and you lost like some 30 million due to it. Like, what was the story?
What a dickhead. What a fucking dickhead. Yeah, so this is early on. I'll tell you the real story about a good friend. And also as you grow, you want to be cautious who you keep around. But so early on in my business, when I was first building Smarter Contact, I had a business partner. We were doing real estate deals. And I was just excited. I was just like, hey, man, like, don't tell anyone, but I got this really cool thing. He's like, yeah, man, like, tell me, like, you could trust me. I was like, take notes. And, it was my good friend.
He was a tech guy?
No, he was just an entrepreneur like me.
Okay.
And I told him on the idea. Our business didn't work out. We split ways, but I told him, I was like, hey, you can never do anything with this software. You can't steal it, whatever. He looks at me, he's like, Adam, I would never do that. Shakes my hand, looks me right in the eye. This guy, Aaron from Launch Control. These guys, after copied exactly my idea that I told them, and we found out years later, through the sales, tens of millions of dollars in direct competition. So they became our direct competitor, direct competitor, and we've lost 20 to 30 million dollars at least from this friend. So even with that, it's a motivation. I mean, you can go play these games. If somebody attacks you, what you do, you have two choices, right? You can play this game of knocking the next building down and try to knock the next person's building down, or you build a bigger one. And I just use that as fuel and motivation to build the biggest skyscraper possible. And knowing that one thing I'm very certain of, God always watches. And in this life, and if there's an afterlife or after this life has passed, our actions are watched. So I have full confidence and trust in God that anybody who wrongs you for money, for something as simple as money, is going to deeply get punished in the afterlife. So I know I feel good because I've never like stolen or done something like really like that. So I've done my own way in a very halal way, as we say here in the UAE.
Yeah. And this company, your friend like stole that, it was like direct competition to this your company, Smarter Contracts?
Direct, competitor.
Okay, and this company, your friend's company still exists.
Yeah, they're still existing now. Yeah.
But I think you are bigger than that.
We're the two biggest Goliaths in our space. We've taken a huge amount of their market share recently, but Launch Control, that's a huge company as well in our space. The competitor, Smarter Contact, they're the ones who copied us. All three, even a legal contract. You know, that's actually what's crazy. I signed a contract with the guy, and it was a really vanilla contract. And I approached him. I was like, "Hey man, this contract sucks. Like, let's make it."
You didn't
more.
have any intellectual property rights or something like that.
It was very early
a patent
on,
or something like that.
I hired a lawyer, and he drafted something, but it was very vanilla. And I even approached the guy my friend at the time who stole it, and I was like, "Hey man, like it's not good enough. It needs to be more concrete and detailed." And that's when he looked at me in the eye. He's like, "Adam, I would never steal it." And when a man shakes my hand and looks me in the eye and says that to me is worth gold. You know, and then he's like, and he comes back around. So, yeah, no, it teaches you a lot about life. It really teaches you a lot through these experiences. Teaches you you can't trust everybody. You can't trust everybody out there, and teaches you to be more cautious. And you go through these things, and honestly, it builds you. It builds your character. Really builds you a lot.
So that was like a huge setback in your life. I mean, what's the role of failure in your life? Like, what did it taught you? Like,
I got to really think about that because that's been such a theme in my life. Because people now can, if you look me up on what I'm doing, you might see I'm successful, but I was a failure for a long time. I really failed for quite some time. I think failure is an opportunity for you to level up yourself. And to level up the best version of yourself that you could be proud of. So failure is actually the biggest gift, truly. As cliche as that sounds, if you can overcome obstacles, if you could overcome obstacles, or if you could overcome failure, it's an opportunity to find the next version of you that you can be proud of. And that's what I am. That's genuinely what I am. I'm very proud of myself. And I have people say, oh, I'm very confident. Well, good. Because I've overcome more failure than most people. So, yes, failure is one of the biggest gifts. People just don't look at it, right?
and like when we are talking about, like you build your business in the US, like what happened? Like, why do you quit up, US citizenship and came to Dubai and made your home? Like, what happened there? Because you are a huge successful business in the US. Like, why did you came here?
Yeah. Well, it's incorporated in the US. Our employees are international. So when I scaled, I was scrappy. I didn't have boots. We were a bootstrap. We didn't have VC funding. I didn't have big money coming in. You know what I mean? So I had limited resources, and we built it internationally. So anyway, I was already traveling in 2020. I was traveling a lot, and I realized that life is actually very good in Europe and the East. And I liked it so much, I was like, I don't want to come back to the US. I don't want to live there again. So, and that was for somebody, and maybe someone watching, maybe you're in a Western country, or wherever you're at, anywhere you're at. you might say, okay, like this place is like let's say you're considering travel, you can always come back, right? You can always come back to where you want. So when I left the U.S. in 2020, I was like, okay, this sounds cool. I'm going to travel, but if it sucks, I'll come back home, right? You always have that opportunity, and I just didn't want to come back. And anyway, fast forward many years as I built my business, I moved to Dubai, did all the things. You can acquire multiple passports. This is a real fucking flex. This is like a boss fucking move right here, where this is freedom. Like people say money is freedom. Yes, it's not, but it's not the only one.
Multiple passport is also a freedom.
Oh yeah, oh for sure, for sure. I'd rather hand multiple passports to my kids than millions of dollars.
So which country passports you have currently?
Currently Dominica, but I'm working on a few others. Dominica, Morocco. Okay. I gave up U.S., so I'm
You gave up U.S. passport?
Yes.
People die for U.S. passport. Like they spend their entire life being an immigrant. Like it's so, and specifically like Trump has made it so hard to get the U.S. citizenship, and you gave up.
No thanks.
Why? Like why give up U.S. passport?
Well, I don't live there.
You could have stayed in Dubai with a U.S. passport.
Yeah.
But then why did you give up? Like
I don't live there. Number one. Number two, I don't plan to live there. Number three, I'm abiding by a certain set of rules that I have to abide by. By being a U.S. citizen, if, for example, let's say I commit some, I don't know, some crime, even though I was accused of it, but I didn't actually do it, I still have to show up to court. Okay. Just for being accused of something, I have to show up to court to, deal with something. Obviously, as you know, the tax system is not very well in your favor, especially internationally. So that is significant, especially at some point if I want to exit and sell the company and do different things. So the tax code is not, you're shaking your head, everything okay? Yeah. The tax code is not in your favor. So that's a huge part of it as well. And I just don't see as much upside. It's more downside than upside. Yes, you have a passport, but I can go buy a passport in the Caribbean or Europe or somewhere else. So what really is the upside anymore?
And you settled in Dubai only due to the tax advantage?
No, Dubai is just where I like to live. Yeah, I like Dubai. It's obviously safe, clean. When you're successful, you're welcomed. They roll down the red carpet for you here. So that's nice. I didn't see, for me, any other place that made sense besides living here. So yeah, and I lived all over. I lived in Eastern Europe. I lived in South America, Asia. This just made a lot of sense. English is a great, everyone speaks English. Everyone's nice, friendly, and it's a great place.
Okay, going on the other side, like I recently saw your video, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and you said that you didn't had any training, and it was like a very spontaneous decision just to do it. Like what happened there? Like what's the story?
Should I tell this one, huh? All right, so I'll tell you the Mount Kilimanjaro story. So, as somebody that, you've already achieved the other mountains of life, you've achieved a lot. You've built a, multi-8-figure, 9-figure company, and, you have all the cars and all the cool shit. I retired my mom, and I have multiple passports, and renounced citizenship. And
everything which a man dreams
of. And I'm
Yeah.
also doing physical stuff, and I fight, and I play chess, and I speak 4 or 5 languages. What else is there? And I'm sitting on my balcony, and I was out with some friends before, and I just wake up in the morning, I had this sadness, like this sad feeling in me. I was like, Adam, are you about it? Are you being a pussy or what? I was sitting there, I was like, I don't know. Are you still a beast, or are you just kind of this old, retired guy? I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette at my balcony. I'm like, fuck do I do? So, no joke. I swear to you, I open up Grok, and I'm like, Grok, I'm bored. Find me something to do this week.
And Grok suggested Mount Kilimanjaro.
And Grok is like, well, if you want to not be a pussy, go climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
What?
Not in those words. And I was like, oh, I never climbed the mountain before. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. So I booked the ticket. I buy my gear, like $4,000 or $5,000 worth of gear, like camping gear, boots, all the shit, like 4 or 5 jackets, gloves, everything. So I get all the equipment, like all the high-end stuff. And I was like, boom, I'm flying. I called my buddy, who's climbed a lot of mountains, and I was like, hey, bro, I'm gonna climb this mountain. He's like, oh, amazing. I'm gonna guide you. Just if you follow this regimen for the next 2 to 3 months, you should be fine. I'm like, dude, I'm flying tonight.
I mean, there is a huge risk also, you know, you could get hurt or, you know, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
anything could happen. I mean,
there's
climbing
there's
a
a risk.
mountain is no joke, I mean.
Crossing the street, you know, there's always a risk. But the real risk is not climbing the mountain.
Yeah, but
The real risk is not climbing the mountain and being a pussy all your life. Like, all right, cool.
no, you could have like climbed after 2-3 months of, you know, training and everything. What made you like a spontaneous, like, I mean, since you don't had any training, I mean.
That was even more why I wanted to do it. So I wanted to like get that.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to get that kick and remind yourself who you are, because also to build the company and all this stuff, I had to go to an obsessive phase. You know, you have to do this. Like you have like you're doing with your podcast. You told me how many podcasts you have to be fucking obsessed with anyone watching. Be obsessed about everything that you're doing in that stage. So I had to find out if I was still about it and prove it to myself. So anyway, I fly out. I hire, you know, a couple local tour guides. You know, they've been up the mountain dozens and dozens of times. So I hire some guys, just me, and yeah, I did it in one of the hardest routes in 4.5 days, which normally takes 7 to 9 days. I did it in 4.5. Got to the top with additional handicaps. I didn't even use the walking sticks at the very, very top of it. Like all these, like almost no sleep, a lot of different stuff. And yeah, and then took a helicopter back down. Rich people shit. Actually, a funny story about that. I got back, once we got to the summit, I get back to the base camp, take like 3-4 hours to the base camp, 3 hours. Get back to the base camp, and I was with my African tour guides the whole week. And you know, they didn't know I was rich. So I was just pretending I'm a poor guy. I'm wearing, you know, normal t-shirt, scraggly beard, whatever. Like, they didn't know who I was. So I was like, guys, I don't feel like climbing down the rest of the mountain, because climbing down the mountain is fucking stupid. Like, it's stupid. Like, you got to the top.
Yes.
Like, get me the fuck off. Like, so I was like, how much is a helicopter? They're like, sir, it's too much. I'm like,
Just tell me.
yeah, how much is it? Like, try me. They're like, it's $4,000. I'm like, well, I've spent that on like first class a couple times, many times, and fuck it. Bring it out. So the helicopter comes down, I just fly off like James Bond. They're all looking at me, jaws drop. They're like, who is this guy? Unbelievable. But came back, and honestly, man, you remember who you are. And this is why, this is how you have confidence. So you have confidence for the things that you do for yourself. And you prove to yourself about who you are. So when you know without any doubt whatsoever who you are, you walk around confident. Some people will say, oh, you're arrogant. Well, that's their wrong assessment. But confidence is built off of the work that nobody sees.
So anytime during, you know, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, you know, what happens when you go to heights, there is a breathlessness and, you know, oxygen. And you felt that, hey, I taken the wrong decision. I should just go back. I mean, I'm having, you know, health issues. And
Oh, you felt it. Yeah, you for sure feel big time. I got really dizzy.
You feel like puking and, you know, or have a massive headache or whatever. I mean, there can be multiple issues. Did you feel like that?
For sure. Yeah, when I got to the very top, even the base camp. So below the summit is the base camp.
Okay.
So the base camp is like 1 kilometer below. I mean, and Kilimanjaro isn't on the level of Everest or something like that. I mean, that's a whole nother level. Yeah.
I think you will obviously climb Everest also. I mean, going by things, I mean, obviously that's a different beast.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I would train if I did it. But yeah, now even when you get to the base camp, and certainly when you get to the summit without acclimation, you feel for sure disoriented, dizzy. I felt like a fucking baby was like punching me in the head, like every 2 seconds. I just felt like, you know, yeah, you feel dizzy and disoriented. But yeah, it was an incredible experience. And this is how you build that character, you know.
But you never felt like on the journey, like, hey, what the fuck I have done? Like, I should have, like, you know, gone back.
Sometimes, yeah.
But still you climbed up.
Still climbed up. I'll tell you the biggest lesson I learned from climbing it. So at 36, 37, I've done a lot, seen a lot. But you're always learning. So I'm always a student of life and never feel like I've mastered anything, and I'm always looking to gain more information. So here's what I took from climbing Africa's tallest mountain. What I learned is it's step by step. So when I would be walking and I look up at the mountain, I'm like, holy shit, I gotta climb all that. And it's very intimidating. So same with starting a podcast, building a business. It's very intimidating to go from $0 to $10 million. But it's not intimidating to build that first little step, that first campaign, that first template, getting that first customer. So the same thing when I was climbing the mountain, I would just focus step, 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 step. 100% of my attention was on that step. So I used that same attention to detail and that same focus on the next step, on getting that first customer, and then there's first 10 customers, first 20 customers versus the first 1,000 customers. Focus on the first $10 versus the first $1 million. And then it just compounds. And before you know it, you look back and you've walked a long way.
But nature can be quite ruthless. I mean, specifically in heights such as that, I mean, it can be very unpredictable. Like,
yes.
But still you did it.
Yeah, it's just a mental challenge, I think, more than anything.
Okay, with all your life lessons, like, what would you advise someone who is like, 18 years old, or like, what is something you feel that you should have done when you were 18? Like,
when I was 18, are we talking about men, women?
Men.
Mostly men, yeah?
Yeah.
18-year-old men, I would say there's a lot of things.
Or somebody who is like 18 watching this podcast right now. He's like fucking clueless about life.
Right.
He's like direction. He doesn't know like what to do.
Cool. Well, just don't be mad at yourself. So if you're watching, you're 18, don't be mad at yourself. Everything where you're at is because of you, and it's also your fault. Your fault, and it's also congratulations to what you've achieved, or your fault because of where you're at. So just own 100% of responsibility. And your success is your responsibility. It's 100% on you. Now, specific steps you can take for the young person, I think especially in the age that you just gave, like under 25, I would say find the best of the best and figure out how to add value and learn from them. Like learn from them if possible, or work with the best of the best. And a lot of times you have to add value very creatively. And guys, cut out all this bullshit. I get so much on Instagram, like, hello, Adam, how are you? I'm like, fuck off. I will never answer you. So this is the number one, I think, thing I see nowadays is people are just very generic. Be creative. Like do something very unique and specific versus being like everybody else. Like, hi Bob, hi John, like some standard template expecting like a millionaire or somebody's going to reach back out. No, they're not. So be unique, be creative, especially when it comes to copy. I think that's a huge one.
But a lot of times it is, assume that successful people are very arrogant or they have, ego issues. Is it true? Like you mix in that circle?
Oh,
I don't
dickheads.
find you arrogant or, anything like that. But that's like the general perception. They have a big, huge ego and something like that.
I do have a huge ego.
Okay.
I'm a dickhead. 100% I'm a dickhead, and I have a huge ego. But there's a difference between having a huge ego and not being deserved, not being earned, and having a huge ego and it being earned. I climbed fucking mountains and built a $100 million company. I can have all the big fucking ego I want because, okay, good. I paid the dues and I have the receipts and I've actually went through that life. So I think it's perfectly healthy to have a big ego if you've paid the price to earn it. That's a good clip.
Yeah,
That's a good
editor. We can make a good reel out of it.
Watch that clip. I'm recording, and I hope we don't edit this out. But
no, definitely we can make a good clip. And how does like retired life look at 36? Like, I mean, how does it look since you don't have a full-time work? How does it look like? It's like party fun, all day around, or like what's it like?
Oh man, they should. Those like those memes they make. It's like what people think like what I do, what my mom thinks I do, what my friends think. We should make one for retirement. That's actually super funny. Oh man, I'm gonna make one now. So what is retirement? It's so different for everybody else. Like, so for me, honestly, waking up doing what I want. Like I wake up, for me, health is very important. So I really take care of my health and training. I'm doing some boxing, some swimming, different things, play some chess. And I'm jumping into the development space. So I'm going to start developing some real estate in Morocco, northern Morocco.
Okay.
So
You're not doing any real estate in Dubai? Because like
a
Dubai.
bit.
Yeah.
A bit. But I want to be the developer. I don't want to be
Okay.
the guy buying from the developer.
Okay.
I want to build my own shit.
Okay.
You know, and it's also very nice to, you know, let's say, you know, as you build and you come from a place like India, imagine helping to support that country one day and being involved in, you know, building it up and hiring your own
So
people.
not forgetting your roots.
Never forget your roots. So I come from Morocco. You know, it's not the richest country in the world,
Yeah.
but like it gives me
That's a
so
nice
much
one.
happiness to go back there, employ people, bring in money, and like see my people win. This is like an old school warrior shit.
Yes.
The old warrior would go out, he'd hunt, he'd kill, you know, chop off some
Respect,
fucking heads,
I mean, yeah.
chop off some heads and conquer, and then come back and you feed your tribe. Nothing more honorable than that.
So you are doing the things which you are not able to do when you're like working full time as a CEO.
Yeah, so I have a lot more time to dedicate to anything that I want. So the time is allocated now to friends, family, a little bit of business. I still am involved a bit in my software company, smartercontact.com. And yeah, at this point, honestly, I've been retired for a year and I haven't really like gotten into business, but I think I'm ready to get back into it very soon.
Okay, one thing like which is on your Instagram profile also, you know, you're partying in yachts and everything, you know.
Well, that was just this weekend. I don't party much anymore, honestly. My party days are behind me. I cut. I mean, it was my birthday this last weekend, so I got a yacht and a bunch of friends and yeah.
Yeah, but then you have, you know, the Batmobile and things like that.
Yeah.
But there is normally a perception that people who show off are, you know, like normally like fake or scammers, and real people actually don't show off. They are very humble. I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I'd say most of the time, especially in big cities, when you go
Like,
to
you know, a lot of crypto guys, they show off, you know, fancy
Yeah.
vehicles, then they scam people. I mean,
Right.
so yeah. So what's your take on that?
like, is it common that people are showing off and like are scammers?
People have this perception that people who show off are normally scammers, like 8 out of 10, and people who have normal wealth, they don't, like somebody like
no,
Warren
it's
Buffett.
true. It's true. The more money you make and the more you've been around and you've done things, the less you have to show off. And there's something called a soft flex versus a hard flex. There's two different things. So a hard flex is be like, hey, here's my Patek Philippe. This is really nice. It's a $100,000 watch. Wow. Like posting that as a hard flex. A soft flex is exactly what I just did. You notice that? So a soft flex is, hey, I didn't tell you guys about my watch directly, but I'm on a podcast indirectly talking about it. That's soft. That's what generally everybody at some level likes to flex a bit. I don't really do the hard flexing. It's automatic. Yes. Oops, driving a Ferrari. Oops, it just happens. Like this, there's luxury shit all over. So I'm not doing it intentionally. But if I ever decide to flex, I try to do it very subtly. Where it's kind of indirect. You tell a story and it indirectly happens to be there. Yeah, I was driving my Ferrari and then this happened. But then you're like, oh shit, he has a Ferrari. You see, that's all.
But then, this thing that rich people don't show off, it actually have come from people like Warren Buffett and, Bill Gates. Like Bill Gates is standing in a McDonald's counter, or Warren Buffett having the same coffee for the last 50 years or something.
Hard flex is pretty douchey. Let's be honest. Like, we all hate that guy. It's like, hey, look at my car, look at my watch, hard flex is the biggest douche
Something
thing.
like Andrew did?
Well, Andrew did it in a very aggressive, hard flex is okay if it's so insanely out of this world. So Andrew did it in a very interesting way because he's a fucking master marketer. Like, that guy really knows how to market. And he understood that he had to be as polarizing as possible to grab eyeballs and grab attention. And now he has it, and it's like he can back off a bit. So that was really smart. That was honestly one of the most brilliant. I saw the strategy as soon as I caught his content. The first time I caught him, I was like, this guy kind of looks like a douchebag.
Yes.
The first time I saw a Fresh and Fit podcast, I was like, oh, another guy with like 10 chicks, and I'm like, another one of these Playboy guys. And I was like, oh, but he's kind of funny. Well, he's kind of right about that. And he's kind of right about that. And he's kind of right about that. I'm like, oh, he's got a point. And I started watching more stuff, and I was like, all right, this guy's not a douchebag. He's actually like a really smart businessman and somebody switched on in the right way. Yeah, so he's an excellent example. Yeah, he did some hard flexing, but I think it was useful, and it certainly helped him grow.
So, like, what are the top 3 people you admire? Like, I mean,
Dead or
in
alive?
business or in
Like
life?
like people I know, or
Anybody, like people or maybe via online, or anybody, like which are the kind of people basically you admire? You'll admire Andrew Tate kind of guys who talk so much. I know he has a lot of money, he's a market, but he has talking a lot of shit about women and things like that.
yeah.
And I don't know, there has been recently a web series in Netflix called Adolescent. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen it.
So it's about a teenage kid who watches it not been showing that it's Andrew Tate, but people like them, and he starts hating girls, and finally he like kills a girl by seeing content like. So these kind of content have a huge effect. I mean, you are
Yes.
growing popular, but
Yes.
you are affecting a lot of teenage
Yes.
guys.
Especially people who can't understand that content is not meant for them. Not every man can have 2, 3, 4 women, whatever. Like, you have to be a certain pedigree. So when you're sitting there like at 16 years old calling, girls bitches and stuff, I'm like, dude, like, I just want to slap you. Like, it's just, you haven't earned the stripes in life to be able to live that kind of, as certain, that kind of lifestyle, like that top G lifestyle or whatever.
But these kids are watching the maximum of the content online. That's the
Yes,
problem.
exactly,
Because they have a lot of
exactly.
free time and
Exactly, and that's what shows up on the TikTok reels,
Yes,
and they
yes.
emulate that.
Yes.
And they said and asked their teacher, "What color is your Bugatti?" Right?
they don't have any real life role models, so they admire these online
Exactly,
guys.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you have to be very careful of the information that you watch and that you allow to like be relevant to you. Yeah, so when it comes to like just different people, I mean, I can't say like I deeply admire any person, but there's people I respect. And I think I watched the podcast with Giuliano, very similar.
Yes, yes.
There's
He also
people
said the
that I
same point,
respect.
yes.
There's people that I deeply respect and I always want to learn from. And if I find them in my close circle, if we're going that same level, I want to add value to them. And as they've added value to me. But people that I genuinely admire, I would say, I mean, I love Elon, huge fan of Elon, a big fan of him. And just a couple people that I know personally. I mean, I don't want to name any names, but people that I know personally that I really genuinely admire. I think they're very good people. But yeah, I mean, just kind of like, and my mom.
Okay, Adam, another question is like, there is a reputation of Dubai being a fake place, like a lot of scams happening. I think Juliano also told something about that. Like, is it fake? Is it real? What's about the energy of that place? Like, if I have to talk, like, like every place has a characteristic. Like, New York has some character, London has some characteristic. If like Dubai is a human, what is the characteristic? I mean, is it like fake, gives you energy, gives you peace? Like, what's it?
Dubai is whatever you make it. Dubai is really whatever you make it. There's a lot of fakers out here, and there's a lot of very genuinely authentic and real people here that are doing well. So it's your job to find out who those people are and connect with them and really build the people around you. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big city. If you want, the nightclubs and the parties and the girls, that's there. If you want, nice, safe communities, it's there. If you want to go golfing, everything is here depending on what you want. But I will say one thing about Dubai is it's an incredible place to build a family, to grow long term. If you're ever considering, yes, it's honestly one of the best places in the entire world, if not the best place in the entire world, where it's going, the innovation, the safety, and cleanliness, and just the people overall. I love this country. When I step foot in the airport, like when I walk in the airport, I feel in my heart, I feel at home.
Wow.
I feel my heart light up. And it's very welcoming, especially when you're successful. They roll down the red carpet for you. And there's a lot of business people are hustling, people are working here. I'm a huge fan of this place, and I hope to be a supporter. I will be a supporter for life of this country and this city.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so you are making Dubai a personal. I mean, your home. Like, is your home for long term.
This is my home for life. I still travel in the summer months, but this is my home, yeah, for life.
And Dubai is also called the best place for entrepreneurs. Is it true?
I don't know.
I'll tell you why I asked you this question, because first of all, you are from tech, and normally tech oriented companies, normally they want to settle in the US, because all the innovations and things are going around here.
Yeah.
So I mean, comparing US entrepreneurship scene with the Dubai scene, I mean, you have been to both the places. What's the difference like?
I haven't really played in the Dubai scene of
Okay, so you
tech
are
and
just
stuff.
retiring here.
Yeah, I just kind of just chilled here
Okay.
as much. But there's a lot of people hustling, But I remember when I first got my office, I was first building the company, we had an office, like a WeWork, whatever. We just go there, I'd get my guys, make sure whatever you're building, have your guys with you and go to the office together, work, have lunch together, spend maximum time and maximize that creative process. When we went remote with Smarter Contact, we have 70 employees. We went remote. It's not the same as when you're, doing everything, having coffee together.
The human connection.
Yeah, and you're thinking of ideas. Hey, what do you think about this? Oh, it sucks. Well, how can we fix it? Those ideas are happening. So you don't have to be in Dubai. Just get an office together anywhere, just with your people, and make shit happen. But Dubai is very good for connections and networking if that's something that you really need. But honestly, you don't necessarily need it. You can get very far with just a few solid people and a nice office to get shit done.
So, like you said, you will be starting another business on real estate.
Yeah. Building some luxury villas probably.
Okay, and that's in Morocco.
I think so.
So basically you have, I mean, it's something strange. People normally retire in other places, come to Dubai for, work and making money, and then they retire somewhere. And you are retiring here and building businesses other places.
Yeah.
That's something, strange, I mean.
Yeah. Good. I like it. I accept the challenge and I prefer to be different. I've been different my whole life, so I appreciate it.
And how has, you told me you have been working on your health, you have been into swimming.
Yeah, swimming, boxing. Swimming, boxing, and just weight training. Yeah.
Okay. And you were doing these things while you were working full time as a CEO, or not, only after you retired?
No, this stuff, no. But I'm always picking up new shit. So I like, learning something, at least getting it decent at it. So I picked up, 10, 12 classes of swimming, and that's fun. I picked up some boxing. Next time, probably do some golf. I hired a chess coach.
Chess coach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. Why play chess when you can get a coach? It's amazing. They will show you all the things it would take you 10 times longer to get as good in chess as you would with a coach that can personally guide you, figure out where your mistakes are. Hiring a coach is a big shortcut.
Oh, but chess is not a very complicated game. I mean, you just need to know the rules.
Yeah, it's very complicated. It's extremely complicated. Oh man, yeah, no, it's there's definitely insane complications in chess.
And you have no plans to return back to US, at least for now.
No point. Yeah, I have no family there, no kids, So I have no immediate plans to go back. Maybe to visit one day. I really would love to, go back to Miami or New York or something like that. But no immediate plans to head back to the States. That's why I've renounced my U.S. citizenship.
Wow, I mean that's a very big thing. I mean to renounce it. And in Dubai, who are your friends normally? Are they entrepreneurs or
Yeah, mostly. I don't hang out with losers. So I'll be honest. So it's not enough for somebody to just be loyal and cool, to hang out. I got to be with somebody who's loyal, cool, and also adds some value to your life, and it's a combination of those three. So my closest friend is your last podcast.
Yeah, Juliano. I know. Yeah,
but that's what fucking friends do. So the previous podcast was my best friend, and as a best friend, what do? Hey, I got somebody you should interview. That's what friends do. So if you're watching, if you're on a podcast, tee up your boys. That's how you build friendships with people, where it's not just hey, fun, hanging out. No, it's adding value to each other. And I do the same for him. If there's any opportunities, he's the first person in my mind that I think of. And we win together, So that's such a good example. And I'm trying to give examples while I'm also
definitely,
answering your questions. But so I don't have a huge circle. But those are the qualifications of a close friend.
Okay, another thing is when you take risks in life, not, a lot of things are out of your hand. You don't know like what will happen in the next day. Suppose like you're climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, there could have been any accident or disaster or whatever. So a lot of times people pray to God, and God gives them the strength and something like that. Do you
Yeah.
also pray, or are you like religious, or like what's
I'm
your
not
take on that?
overly religious, but I'd like to be a little bit even closer to God at this stage of my life. I firmly believe there is one God, and I believe in God. So, but I haven't leaned into that part of my life as much as I'd like to.
So you have not gone into the spiritual part, and you have not figured it out.
Not at length. I've done it in small,
Because a lot of entrepreneurs, when they get very rich, they go into the spirituality. Obviously, keeping their business, but spirituality helps them a lot to calm their
Yeah.
mind. To get in touch with your soul and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know that's something I'd like to evolve and grow my relationship with Allah.
Okay, another question is like, which normally comes is like, are rich people insecure in nature?
Everyone at some capacity is insecure. There's nobody that doesn't.
No, but
have,
when you make money, it's supposed to give you security, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I will make this money, and it's like all settled for my life. I can now chill and relax. So where is insecurity coming from?
Well, maybe not financial insecurity, but there's insecurity in other areas of health or appearance or anything else along those lines, right? There's a lot of places you could be insecure. So I think it's common for rich people to be insecure, but it's not a money thing. Money doesn't really. It's just a magnifier. Honestly, yeah, I'm sure you've heard that before. It just magnifies who you are. If you were a dickhead when you were poor, you're going to be a bigger dickhead when you're rich. If you were a generous person when you're poor, you're going to be even more generous when you're rich. So, yeah.
Okay, so now you have made enough money, you are in good shape, and you have done a lot of crazy things in life. Like, if you have to rate yourself in health, wealth, and happiness, how much you will give? Like on wealth?
Wealth? I don't want to jinx myself, bro. I can't say a 10 because I'd like to, but fuck. I want to say a 9.
Okay, health?
9.
Happiness? 10.
8.5.
Why the 0.5 less? I mean, like.
You see, money does not mean happiness. Prime example of that right there. So yeah, I mean, you can buy you a supercar, buy you some stuff, which is great, but it's not the only thing.
And like, just like you climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, any other crazy things you're planning for this year? Maybe like our audience can know it beforehand and then motivate you. Hey, I mean, like, Adam, you said that you will do this thing, and
Yeah.
like build in public something like for a crazy shit.
I'd like to build a school. That's actually one of the things
Oh.
I have on my list to do is build a school in Morocco. Very keen to do that, but not yet. I maybe go to summer. I don't know. We'll see.
But that's not crazy shit, like something like Mount Kilimanjaro, like something going into the deep of Pacific Ocean, or I don't know, like anything, or
Maybe drop in the comments. Let's do that. Top comment.
yes,
Top comment. I'll do it.
suggest
So,
some crazy shit.
suggest some crazy shit, and like the most liked voted
Yes.
comment.
Suggest
And
crazy
please,
shit
guys,
for
don't give me some like weird shit. I mean, I gotta approve it. It can't be some like super weird shit. But like something cool that you think that I would actually really enjoy. Top one, I'll that gets most likes. Put it in the comments below.
Yeah.
And I will take up the challenge and do it.
Yeah, definitely. Put it in the comments. And this will also drive my engagement.
There you go. Well, I did that intentionally. See?
Yeah.
See, I'm smart. You guys see what I did? Like, if you're on
Yeah.
a podcast, you're thinking about teeing up the podcast. It's a
Yes.
second podcast. Obviously, I'm thinking about, okay, cool. How do we drive up this engagement? You guys have some fun, interact.
Yeah.
I'll interact back. It's a win-win. And I do some crazy shit. So,
Okay, I'll do a quick, rapid fire round. I'll take some names and you just have, 1 second to answer about them, just in
Let's
a single
go.
sign. Andrew Tate,
racist.
Donald Trump,
I'm a racist too, so it's fine.
Donald Trump,
Legend.
Elon Musk,
Innovator.
okay, Tony Robbins,
Tony Robbins. Inspiration. Can I use one word? Or?
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, inspiration.
Kim Kardashian,
Slot.
okay. So we are now to the end of our podcast. I'll ask you, like, what are your short-term and long-term goals? Like in the next 6 months, 1 year, what are you planning to do? And for the long term, like, what is your life's vision and purpose, and what are you thinking about that?
Short term, honestly, I want to see a little bit more of the world, but I'm ready to start having kids. So definitely at this point where I've seen and done enough, and I want to start thinking about having a family in the future. Long term, raise kids and be the best father ever.
Oh, so you don't have any monetary goals in long term, or
Like, what else was there more needed? Okay, cool, buy a private jet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I showed up here in a Rari, I got a nice house, I'm traveling first class everywhere. So what's next? A private jet? That's next. I can't afford that right now, but I can. I mean, I'm sure if I really push for 5 years, I'm sure I could. But what's the fucking point?
But don't you want to go from millionaire to a billionaire, or having like 10
I don't have a
companies like
burning desire, but I am gonna get back in business, I think, soon. So at this time where I'm recording it, I'm cool, I'm good. It's not about financially achieving some billionaire status or something. No, it's not a burning desire for me. I'm perfectly good where I'm at. Growing a business would be nice, but really growing a family would be much more important to me. And also deepening my relationship with God.
Okay, regarding that family thing, like, are you dating someone?
Yes.
And when are you planning to, like, settle down? In the next 1-2 years?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see if she acts right, but yeah.
Okay. So nothing planned right now.
Yeah, nothing planned, but it's in the works.
And any plans for like 2025? Like any plans in the next 6 months? Like something crazy we can expect?
I'm gonna go summer. I mean, summer I try to get out of Dubai because it's just too hot.
Okay.
So I'm probably
You were also saying that you are planning, something big in the branding space, and will making a lot of reels and content.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna do some content as well. Yeah. So I'm gonna do
Okay, we're going big in the content space.
yeah, some YouTube videos, recording my days, my weeks, my Instagram reels as well. So. And by the way, you guys can follow me on Instagram if you're like.
Yeah, I'll have his Instagram link in the comment section.
At Life with Nas, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think you should do a lot of travel also. I think travel will quickly.
And writing a book, actually, I was inspired today. I went to the gym and one of my buddies wrote a book and he gave me a copy of it. So that would, I think, be the next inspiration for me is writing.
Okay. Regarding the book, the final question: top 3 book recommendations.
Yeah. Think and Grow Rich, As a Man Thinketh, and 4-Hour Workweek.
Okay, all nice. And any YouTube channel recommendations? Like top 2 or
Yours.
top 3? That's a nice one.
I'm plugging them. I'm a master marketer. But don't forget to vote. If you didn't vote about where I'm going to travel, vote down below.
Yeah. Please. Fill the comment section. Let it flood.
Let's go.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot,
Absolutely.
Adam. It was a pleasure talking to you.
It's a real honor. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks.